Hi everyone, welcome to the second episode of Service Desk Plus Cloud Masterclass series for the year 2025. In a previous episode, we covered the basic configuration needed to set up your IT Service Desk instance. Today, we'll dive into the key elements that drive swift and efficient service delivery in your organization and how you can achieve this using Service Desk Plus. I am Sukanya and I'll be the presenter for today's session. With that, let's get into today's agenda. So, I'll walk you through how to define service categories according to your requirements, utilize AI capabilities to predict ticket parameters and assess user sentiment. We learn how you can design a service request template using a drag and drop canvas and configure approvals, SLA, tasks, checklists, and form rules all within the template along with workflows for effective request management. And finally, we'll learn how you can create survey to gather user feedback on services offered. Service Desk Plus is available in three different editions, that is standard, professional, and enterprise. So for today's session, I'll be using the enterprise edition. Now, to make today's masterclass more relatable, let us set the stage with a short story. Let me introduce Zilker, a fictional organization that mirrors many of the ITSM challenges faced by businesses worldwide. Zilker's IT team is struggling to keep up with growing demands of service delivery. Manual processes, inconsistent data, and the absence of automation results in delays, errors, and a poor employee experience. The IT team is burdened by a flood of tickets leading to long wait times, manual sheets, and verbal requests made information gathering inefficient. Without standard procedures, technicians lacked clear guidance, and with no feedback loop, service quality went unmeasured. Now, it's very clear that Zilker needed a more structured approach to IT service management, right? That's when they implemented Service Desk Plus. So here's what changed with Service Desk Plus implementation. Zilker is now able to have a seamless employee onboarding experience through a self-service portal. AI-driven prediction assists both end users and technicians. Well-defined service categories and templates simplified request submission and contextual data collection. Workflows and life cycles guided technicians through request fulfillment process with automated notifications keeping stakeholders informed. And finally, the automated surveys triggered upon request resolution help gather feedback to enhance service delivery. Now, let's see how Zilker was able to streamline service delivery with Service Desk Plus Cloud. To begin with, Zilker sets up a dedicated self-service portal and customized it to appeal to its branding. Now, as you know, Service Desk Plus comes with the intuitive self-service portal, which is customizable. Now, let me show you the self-service portal. So I'm logged into Service Desk Plus as a end user. So as you can see here, there are various widgets here. You have a search bar. And as a end user, I can report an issue, request for a service, and also view solutions and knowledge base for common issues. Apart from this, as I scroll down, you can see a URL widget, which is an external link being embedded as a widget in the self-service portal. Now let's see how Zilker was able to customize this portal as per their requirement. So I'm logged into self-service portal as a technician now. So let me navigate to setup. And under general setting, let me choose request a portal. So we have requester portal settings and requester portal customization here. So the portal can be customized using GUI based or code based options here. So using GUI based, you can customize the portal using a simple drag and drop actions, and there's no coding required here. Let's see what is in the GUI based. As you see here, there are various templates available here. So you can choose any of the templates and set that particular template as requester's homepage, or you can also create a new one. So this will direct you to a drag and drop canvas. So in the left hand side, you can see the drag elements, and you can simply use one of these elements and drag it to the canvas. Now let me say I want to add a button. So I'm adding a label, and let's say welcome to Zilker. And now I can use the list element to bring in announcement, my assets, and my consumables as a widget. So let me use announcements and my assets. Now I can use a snippet to embed the external URL as a widget in my portal. And finally, you can save it and use the portal. So the next option is the code-based one, where you need minimal HTML skills. So this is the default portal. To edit it, let me click the edit icon over here. And this will take you to the split view, which shows both the code view and the preview. Let me navigate to code view. And this is where you will be entering all your HTML codes to customize the portal. And the preview will show you how the UI would look for the end user. Apart from this, you can also set the preferences and also manage the widgets. You can either choose to use canned widgets, which are predefined widgets, or you can also use the URL widgets. Like I said, you can embed the external website as a widget into your self-service portal. All right, now we just saw how you can customize the portal. Now let me get into requester portal setting and configure certain setting for the requester. So I can enable reminders for the requester. I can allow the requester to close their resolved requests. I also have an option for the requester to cancel their request. And I can also show the service and resource cost information to the requester. So this comes handy when a requester is raising a request for asset. Now that we have configured the setting for the requester, let's see what is available for the technicians. So in the left panel, you can see setup. Under that, we have general setting, and I'm going to choose advanced portal setting. So this is where you configure settings for the technician. I can have the technician create an update request. I can have them choose the SLA for the service request. So here under this option, I have three different options, which says use condition-based SLA. I can use SLA selected by user, or I can use both user selected and condition-based SLAs. Now we'll see how this option for SLA comes handy while creating a request. So apart from this, I can have the technician send approval reminders, and I can also have them reopen a ticket. And there are few more settings which can be applied for different modules like change, problem, project, and release management. So let me go to navigation and footer settings next. So if you can follow my cursor, at the top, there's home, activities, requests, problems, and various other modules, right? So these modules are displayed based on your role. And this is called the navigation menu. So at the bottom right, you can see a few icons which say support, live chat, feedback, and few more. So this is called the footer menu. So using the navigation and footer settings, I can reorder and change the visibility of the menus. I can do that for technician and the requesters as well. So let me do it for technicians. Let's say I don't want the problem module to be visible in the navigation menu. I can simply hover over to problems and use this icon to hide it, and let's say save. So if you can see the navigation menu, the problem model has been disappeared, right? So similarly, I can rearrange the footer menu here. Let's say I want the latest updates to be in the first place. So I say save. So you can, at the bottom, you can see the latest update being displayed in the first place. So similarly, you can also do it for the requesters. All right. So let me get back to the deck. So we just learned how you can customize the portal for requester and configure certain settings for the requester, technician, along with navigation and footer settings. Next, we have service categories and templates. Now, Zilker established a well-defined service catalog with service categories and templates under it to gather contextual information. Now, let's see how Zilker was able to do this. So, in the technician portal, I'm moving on to setup. Under template and forms, let me choose service category. Now you can create service categories to group list of service request templates and incident templates. As you can see here, there's a list of service categories, right? So let me open cloud services. This contains a list of service templates with regards to cloud services. As you can see here, there's a service template and you can also create incident templates. Now, templates are predefined forms designed to standardize and simplify request submission process, and also it is used to gather contextual information from user. Now, let's create a new service category. Let me give a name. Let's say people management. Let me say for new hire request, and I can also add a icon to it. Now I've already created a service category which is people management, and I've added few service templates and incident templates. In line with the Zilker story, let's see how Zilker was able to optimize asset requests for the new hires at template level. So let me go to new service template. Well, this will navigate to the template form. So this is the service template form and we are in the technician view. As you can see here, let's give a name to this. Let's say new hire asset request. And the next one says workflow or lifecycle, right? So you can either use workflow or lifecycle. So I'm using workflow here. We'll learn about workflow and lifecycle in a while. For now, let's focus on building the template. You can see various sections and multiple fields under each of the sections. So this is a easy to use drag and drop canvas where you can add fields and new sections from the right panel by simply dragging and dropping onto the canvas. If you would like to add new fields, you can use the new tab in the right panel. And this displays multiple field types from the, you can choose one of this field. Let's say I want to use phone number. So I can just drag and drop it to the section here. And now let me give a name to this. Let's say new hire phone number. And if you think this particular field contains personally identifiable information, then you can mark it. And what Service Desk Plus does is whenever this person leaves the organization, it would either mask it or delete the information. You can also choose to encrypt this field so that whenever a report is being generated, this field is invisible or masked. So apart from this, you can also set field properties for each of the fields. You can make this field a mandatory one, or you can have the requester to set or only view the field. Well, as I scroll down, you can see various sections and the fields added to it. Now we have the cost detail section here. So let me enable cost detail. So this particular section comes very much handy when a requester requests for a asset. So in our case, we are actually requesting for a asset for the new hire, right? So this option has to be enabled so that the cost of the asset being requested would be displayed for the requester. So finally, you can also associate groups to this template. You can either choose technician group, or you can choose to show it to requester, or you can also assign a user group. So in Zilker's case, not every employee in Zilker would be raising a new hire asset request, right? It is mostly the managers. In that case, you can restrict this template to be visible only to manager. Now that we have configured the technician view, as I scroll up, you can see a cogwheel icon here which says form customization. So form customization will help you add a help card, which is actually the instructions to the technicians and requesters. Now let me add a text here. Let's say, please include the email of the new hire. Now, if I want to refine this text, I can use text assist. If you can see here, there is an icon which says Zia. This is the text assist icon. So Zia is the AI assistant in Service Desk Plus, and it is now powered by ChatGPT. I can simply give in the text, and ask Zia to refine the text, or I can even generate new content just like how a chat GPT works. Now I can copy this and add it here. I can choose to show this help card in the request form or in the requester's details page as well. Once we are done with this, let's click on save. You can see various other tabs visible out here. So let me move on to requester view. So this will show you how this particular template will look for the end user. Next, we have resource information. To explain resource information, let me go back and open one of the template which I've already created. So let me scroll down to people management and open employee onboarding. Moving on to resource information. Now, Zilker used resource information to group resource related questions and enhance the choices with images and also displayed the cost. So it gave the users a shopping cart experience much similar to e-commerce store. Now let's quickly add a resource and give a title here. Let me say software details, give a description. Now I can either choose from the existing questions. You'll have a list of questions. You can choose it from this list, or I can create a new one. Let me say software details. I can choose a question type here. Let's say I want a select box. And again, if you think this field is a PII one, you can mark it. So now let's enable the cost and enable advanced layout. So enabling advanced layout will make sure the image is populated to the user. Now under resource, you can either add the source manually, or you can also choose from the existing list. Now let me choose software, and I can set the quantity, either it could be multiple or single. So let me choose single, and under options, let's say I want to add Adobe. As you can see here, there's an image, there's a description, and the cost associated with this particular software. Let me add one more. Now clicking on this edit icon will enable the description, and you can also add an image to it. All right. So this is how you add resource informations. After configuring the resource information, we need to display them in a sequential or dynamic manner to guide users smoothly, right? So this is where form rules come in. So form rules use condition-based actions to display relevant sections and fields based on user input. So let me open one of the form rule which I've already created. So we give in the rule name. You can say who this rule should apply to, give the template that this should be applied to. You can execute the rule when the request is created, edited, or during form load, on a field change or form submit. So in this case, we have used field change. So here is a condition. So whenever there is a field change for this particular field, the below actions will be taking place. That is, it shows these fields and also mandates these fields. So apart from showing and mandating fields, you have a list of actions that can be performed. For example, you can execute a custom script, show a widget, show resource, or hide resource, and so on. Next, we have approvals. So approvals acts as a checkpoint to ensure authorization, and Service Desk Plus comes with 5 stages of approval. So you can add an approval. So you can either add organization roles, or you can add a individual as a approver. So the best practice is to use organization roles, because whenever an employee leaves the company, using the organization roles keeps the configuration intact. So you can also set few configurations. You can automatically send approval notifications, You can choose to assign technicians only to approved service request, or you can also say all anyone to approve the request or every first response action, or you can also have a percentage of approval before the technician starts fulfilling the requests. So moving on to associated SLA, SLA ensures requests are fulfilled on time. To associate a SLA, you can either associate the existing SLA. Let me choose one from here, and I can mark it as default, or I can create a new SLA. You can give in a name, let's say ISLA. I can give a condition here. I can set the response and resolution time. And I can also choose to escalate when there is a response and resolution SLA breaches. Then we have tasks. So all the activities that is required to work on this service request can be divided into multiple tasks and assigned to various technicians. So to add a task, you can either choose a task from the template. This will give a list of available template. You can choose from this list, or you can add a new task. Let's give a title, say provide mobile. You can give a description. You can assign it a group, or you can assign it an individual owner. You can give a status, set the priority, and if there's any additional cost being involved, you can also input the additional cost over here. Apart from adding the task, you can organize the task, you can delete the task, and you can also set the task dependency. So task dependency ensures certain tasks are completed before others begin, saying the parent task should be executed before a child task is being executed. You can also set the trigger options over here. You can say the task should be triggered manually or on approval of service request or during the creation of service request. And then we have the checklist, which acts as a reminder for the technicians. You can simply add a new checklist. Let's say asset checking. Right. So that's how you add a checklist. So with that, we just learned how you can build a service template for employee onboarding. Now let's see how you can use this particular template to create requests. So I'm logged in into Service Desk Plus as user. So let's say I request for a service. So as you can see here, there's a service catalog being displayed here. So in the left panel, you have all the service categories. And when I click on one of the service category, it displays the templates available under the category. Let me choose this template. So this is the employee onboarding template. In the right panel, you can see SLAs out here. So if you remember, during the configuration, we chose SLA where you can use both condition-based SLA as well as user chosen, right? So as a user, I wanted to change this SLA. So I can click on change the SLA and choose SLA from the option given here. Let me quickly add the mandatory fields. Let's say John. So here, before choosing the resources, you can see the mobile details and resource details. There are no other asset details available here, right? So I'm just giving an input here. Let's say I want all three resources. And as I choose here, you can see the asset details being displayed here with the image and the cost. So this is where form rule works. So next we have the category. This is the default category, subcategory and group given in the template. But as a user, if I would like to change this, I can use the drop down and choose anyone from the list. And if I'm confused about which category to be given, that's where Zia comes into place. It suggests the first three category for this particular template based on subject. And similarly for the subcategory and group. Now, like I said, Zia is the AI assistant in Service Desk Plus. It analyzes historical data to intelligently predict request fields like category, priority, technician, and group. Now, let's go and fill in the other details. Let's say role is marketing analyst. Let me choose the laptop as Mac OS and say accessories and then choose a mobile device. Say add request. It is this easy to create a request using the template. Now let's go to the technician's end to see how this ticket is handled. So I'm hopping on to request module. And say services and open the ticket which we just created. So we are in the technician's ticket workspace and we are in the conversation tab. So all the communication that takes between the technician and the user will be recorded under conversations. Now I'm going back to the request module and let me choose another ticket. Here, this ticket was already created and there's like multiple conversation which took place between the user and the technicians. So under the conversation, you can see a emoji here, a smiley, right? And here you can see another emoji. So what Zia does is it reads the conversations and it predicts the sentiment. So in the right hand side, you can see Zia's sentiment analysis. So it displays the last conversation's sentiment as well as the overall conversation sentiment. So apart from this, let's say there are multiple conversations and you just want to generate a summary of these conversations. Again, Zia will help you get a quick AI generator overview of conversations. So just below the conversations, you have Zia. Click on generate. And this will display the summary of the conversations. All right, so let me get back to the deck. We just saw how you can create service category, request templates. And we also saw how Zilker leveraged AI and ML capabilities in Service Desk Plus Cloud to assist end users and technicians, right? Now let's see how you can configure these Zia features. So let me go to setup. Under Zia, choose artificial intelligence. So this is where you set Zia predictions. So under apply predictions, you have the toggles, right? So you can use this toggle to enable or disable the predictions. So as I already said, Zia can predict category, subcategory, priority, technician, template, and it also have auto approval option here. Let's click on configure. So Zia can predict approval actions for requests based on the reply emails sent by approvers. Now you can configure phrases and train Zia to auto predict approval decisions. You can give in the keywords over here and run a test. Let's say looks good. So if this phrase is available, then Zia will predict the approval action as approved. You can also give your feedback to improve Zia's accuracy by giving upvoting or downvoting. So apart from this, we also saw how sentiment analysis works, right? So Zia assesses user conversations to determine the overall sentiment. And under conversation summary, you can configure Zia to check the email response, notes, subject description, and resolution to generate a conversation summary. Let me get back to the request. So next is the details tab. So under details tab, you can see request details, requester details, and you have the resource details along with the cost details here. At the end, you can see the help card. So this is the instruction that we already gave in the template to be shown for the requester and the technicians, right? So that is displayed here. So we already saw how task checklist, uh, we already saw about task and checklist in the template section. So I'm moving on to resolution. So resolution is very much useful for incident tickets than the service request, because the technicians can search for solutions using this option in the knowledge base, or if there's any new resolution, the technician can give in the resolution here and add it directly from the ticket to the solution using the option add to solutions. Next, we have reminders, where technician can add email reminders to keep a check on important tasks. We'll come to approvals in a while. Next, we have work log, where technician can log in all their work activities here. And then we have time elapsed analysis, which shows how long a ticket has been in a particular status, group, or technician's queue. And we have history, which records all the activities that has been taken on this particular request. So let me just get back to the deck. We just saw how intelligent prediction work and auto approval sentiment analysis and conversation summary helps the technician and the end user. So next we have request life cycles and workflow. Now let's see how Zilker was able to standardize the request fulfillment process using a visual workflow builder. So again, back to the request, we are in the technician's ticket workspace. So in the right panel, you can see request ID, status, life cycle, and workflows, right? So we haven't used life cycle here. We are going with the workflow. So workflow is used to create a directional path for the ticket to flow right from the beginning to the closure of the ticket. Now, if you can follow my cursor, you have the workflow button over here. Let me click on it to show the workflow which is associated with this ticket. Now, the green part means completed, the orange means in process, and if there's any red lines, it means there is an error. So, for any incoming ticket will come with a open status. So next we have used an approval node here to trigger a manager's approval here. And once this particular approval is approved, the status will move to in progress. And now, as you can see here, there's a fork node being used here to parallelly check two conditions. That is, check if the mobile is yes, and also the laptop is yes. If the mobile is yes, it checks for the options out here. So in our case, while creating the request, we chose mobile as iOS, right? So this will trigger a manager approval, and once this is approved, it triggers a task. Similarly, for the laptop, if laptop is yes, it checks for the choices. So we have chosen Mac OS, right? So this will trigger a approval. So once this is approved, it triggers a task. So these both operation will take place parallelly, and the result from these both will be consolidated using the join node over here. So once this is completed, a notification is being sent to the stakeholders, and finally the workflow is closed. Now let's see how this workflow works in the real time. So the next it should be the approval action, and once it is approved, the status should move to in process, right? So let's check in the request. I'm moving on to approvals. As I'm one of the approver, I can take action right from the ticket itself. So let's say take action and say approved. Now you can see there's another approval being triggered here, right? So let me move to details. And you can see the status as in process. Now back to approvals, and let me approve the Mac one. Let's say approve the laptop, and one more approval. Let me say approved. All right. So going back to the workflow, so as you can see, the green one means completed, right? So I've approved the options for a laptop and mobile. Now there's a task which says provide mobile and provide laptop is being triggered, right? So I'm getting back to the ticket and say tasks. Let's look for the task. Yes, as you can see here, provide laptop and provide mobile task has been triggered automatically. Now let's see what happens when I close the tasks. I'm choosing all of the tasks and say close. So once this is closed, the ticket has to move to close status. So in the right side, you can see that the status has been closed. Let me move back to the workflow. You can see the green lines all over, which means the workflow has worked perfectly. Now let's see how you can configure this workflow. Go to setup. Under automation, let's choose workflows. You can create workflow for incident, service request, problem, change, release, and asset. Let me choose service requests. Say new workflow. Let me give a name. Give a description. Say next. So this is the workflow editor, which is again easy to use drag and drop canvas. Let me click on this icon which will show the nodes over here. So all I can do is simply drag this node and drop it on the canvas to create the workflow. So before that, let's see what are these nodes for. The first one is the flow node. So flow node defines the status of the ticket. Next is the condition node. This is for precise ticket progression based on parameters you set. So if node will verify a preset criteria, switch is a multi-way branch node that switches path of workflow based on field value you choose. Then we have wait for, which puts the workflow on hold until specified time. And then we have resource node, which is exclusive for service requests, where you can use the resource questions from specific templates as conditions. Then we have action nodes, which automates actions like sending approval, notification. You can perform a field update, trigger a task. You can trigger a custom function. You can also integrate with third-party applications using a webhook, and you can also set timer and send third-party notifications as well. Then we have Zoho circuits, which is used to automate various processes parallelly or sequentially in a single touch. So we will dive into circuits in the upcoming episode. Then we have branch nodes, where the fork node ensures parallel execution of operations, and join node will consolidate all the results from the forked operations. Now let's build a workflow. I'm choosing the status node, dragging and dropping. So like I said, all incoming requests will come in open status. So I'm choosing the status as open and say save. And next I'm triggering a approval. Let's say requesting manager approval, and choose a approver. Let's use the organization rules. Let's say requesters manager. And here you can customize the email notification content over here and say save. Let me associate this. And once this is done, I'm using a fork node. Let's say asset requested. And once this is approved, it will go for the fork node. And from here, I'm using a if node to check mobile. And let's say the condition I've used is additional fields. If this option is yes, Then I'm using the resource node. Let's choose the template, say onboarding. I'm using a switch condition type here. And under resources, let's say mobile details and choose the question out here. And the answers as iOS and Android. So this resource questions and answers are pulled from the template under these informations are pulled from the resource information in the template. Let's say save. And once this is done, I can trigger a task. Let's say I'm using an existing task which says provide mobile. All right. Similarly, you can build the same workflow for the laptop, and you can join the result of mobile and laptop using. You can use the join node, and you can join the result from mobile and laptop. Let's say asset result, and I can join it here and finally complete the workflow. Similarly, you can build workflows for yourself as per your uh, requirements. Now, just like the workflows, you can also use request lifecycles. So so in the left panel in the setup, we have automation. Under that, we have lifecycles. Let me open one of the lifecycles which I've already created. It's employee onboarding. So this is the request lifecycle that we created for employee onboarding. This is again a drag and drop canvas where you can drag the status from the right panel to the canvas. The white boxes that you see here, these are the status, and the green boxes are the transitions. So let me open one of the tickets that uses lifecycle. So this ticket uses a request lifecycle. So in the right hand panel, you can see a lifecycle being associated with this service request. So as you can follow my cursor, we have transitions here. You can see 3 different buttons which say hybrid, remote, and resident. So these are the transitions. So transitions guides the technicians on how the ticket has to be handled. Let me get back to the life cycle. So like I said, the white boxes are the status and the green ones are the transitions. So the transitions are further divided into 3 different stages, that is before, during, and after. The before stage specifies who should see the transition on the request details page and on what condition. The during stage ensures all required informations are gathered to move to the next stage. And the after stage defines what needs to be done after the ticket moves to the next status. Likewise, you can add statuses as per your requirement till the closure. And you have an option here to associate templates with this specific request lifecycle. Let me get back to the deck to see what we have next. So we just learned how you can build a workflow, and you also learned about request lifecycle. Next, we have survey. So let's see how Zilker's technicians were able to gather necessary feedback from the end users to improve their service delivery experience. Let's go to setup. So surveys lets you create and send customer surveys to gather feedback and improve service desk quality. So you can you can build surveys either by using a Service Desk Plus inbuilt survey, or you can integrate Service Desk Plus with Zoho surveys. Now let's see how you can use the inbuilt survey. So in the setup page, let's look for user survey, and we have survey settings. You can enable the user survey here. So like I said, this is a built-in survey given by Service Desk Plus. You can customize the email template over here. You can provide the default welcome message, success message, failure and thanks message as well. And you can also schedule the survey over here. You can choose to send the survey after every request are closed, or every particular number of requests from a particular requester are closed. Now let's say when a request is closed. And next we have define survey. This is where you add the questions to be sent to the user. You can click on add survey and say, how was the service offered? And this will be added under the questions. And next we have satisfaction levels. So the 1 says poor and 4 says excellent. So the last tab is a survey translation, which will help you translate this survey in different languages. Next, we have survey preview, where you can see how the survey would look like for the end user. So like I said, there are two options, right? So next is the Zoho survey. Let's see how you can integrate Zoho survey with Service Desk Plus. Go to setup. Under apps and add-ons, click on Zoho survey. All you have to do is enable Zoho survey and say proceed. And this will integrate all the options under user survey in Service Desk Plus. So in the right panel, you can see user survey here. I'm choosing survey settings. Now, just like the inbuilt one, you can customize the email template using this option, and you can enable the survey out here. You can set the welcome revisit message, and you can also schedule the survey just like the built-in feature. So what's different in Zoho survey is you can set conditions for not sending a survey email, or you can exclude technicians from survey, and you can also send survey reminders. You can notify the requester if the survey is not answered for more than particular number of days. Next, we have survey templates, where you construct your questions. You can either use a template from the existing list, or you can choose to create a new template. You can create a new survey, you can import a survey, you can choose from the template, or you can also copy existing survey. Let's say create a new survey. Give a category and say create. Here you can see the question types in the left panel, right? You can use any of the question types. Again, this is the drag and drop canvas. Let me use rating scale. I'll drag and drop it to the canvas. Here I can give in the question. Let's say, how was the asset provisioning service? And I can use the scales, let's say 1 to 5. So 1 being low and 5 being high. And I can save it. So you can see the survey question here. And then we have settings tab, where you can give survey preferences and response preferences over here. You can enhance it with different themes. You have templates over here to use. And in the hub, you can trigger emails. Like you can send the thank you emails for each of the survey that has been answered. Next, we have survey rules. Let me open one of the survey rules. Here you can give the condition on which the survey has to be triggered. You can give a rule name, and you can give a condition. Now, let's say whenever a template, that is the employee onboarding template, is being used, this particular survey template should be triggered. So whenever onboarding template is being used and the request is being closed, this particular survey will be triggered to the requester. Next, we have ad hoc survey. So there are cases where you need to send survey to your employees, let's say monthly or weekly basis. In that case, you can use ad hoc surveys. Give a survey name, let's say general. You can give a survey template out here, and you can choose the start date and say repeat, let's say monthly, and you can give a end date over here. And finally, we have the survey results, which shows all the results of Zoho survey, Service Desk Plus survey, and we also have survey backlog, which lists all the surveys that the user is yet to be user is yet to answer. And here you can also see the backlog for ad hoc surveys. So that is all about surveys. Let me get back to the deck. So we just saw how you can create a survey out of a template, set a rule to trigger the survey, and also see how and also verify the results of the survey. Let's have a quick recap. We just learned how you can build a self-service portal with a comprehensive service catalog, collect all necessary information using service request templates, and we also learned how you can leverage AI and ML capabilities through Zia's predictive intelligence, automate and standardize the request fulfillment process using workflows and life cycles, and finally collect valuable feedback on service delivery experience and improve processes accordingly. If you'd like to learn more about Service Desk Plus, please access our support portal where you have admin guide, release notes, product videos. And if you have any questions and feedback, please drop a mail to hello@servicedeskplus.com. Thank you for joining the session. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.